Hello, my fellow book lovers. Welcome to today's video. If you're new here, hello, my name is Taylor and I love my Kindle so freaking much. And if you're not new here, then you obviously know how much I love my Kindle and Kindle Unlimited because I'm literally trying to convince everyone to get a Kindle and use Kindle Unlimited all the time. This is another way of me convincing you to get Kindle Unlimited if you haven't already. I decided to read 7 Kindle books in 7 days because these are all really popular books that were just put onto Kindle Unlimited that I decided I need to read them before they get taken off, so that I'm basically reading all of these like new popular books for free. So if that doesn't entice you to read these books, then I don't know what does. Or to even get Kindle Unlimited, I don't know what does. Let me just get started into this video for you to see what books I read and see if they're worth it. So I just started reading Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, and this is actually the first book I will be reading by her. There are other books that I've actually seen by her that I've been really wanting to read, but this one I've heard a few people talking about already, so I really wanted to just like jump right in. And I think this is like one of her newest releases. Anyone that I have seen talk about it, they did say it was really good, and I love a thriller, and I haven't read a thriller in a really long time, so I think this is a good one to start off with. But basically from what I have read so far, which isn't very far, I'm only 7% into the book. Actually pretty intriguing. I mean, like the first 3 chapters were pretty repetitive in the endings of the chapters just because of like what he was introducing. But so far, basically all I've gotten is that it follows 3 different POVs of 3 different girls who were fostered at this place called Wild Meadows Foster Home when they were kids. And clearly something real messed up happened while they were there. And right now they are basically building up to uncover what happened at Wild Meadows when they were there in the 90s. So yeah, it's already really intriguing. Like I'm wondering like, oh my God, what happened? Especially when they tell you what they found. Like you already know something was found, but now it's like, okay, what's gonna happen? Like how did things go down? Like who did what? And like what is this secret that all of these girls are like hiding? I am very excited to continue it. We'll see how it goes. I'm now almost 60% into this book. There really isn't much to update on. It's more of like things like, it's just like a slow unfolding of things that are like being told to you because it's being told to you in obviously a story of like what happened to these girls at this foster home and like who their caretaker was and things like that. 3 things that like just bombshell dropped in here that I'm like confused about. And I'm like, what the heck? Like the thoughts and the theories that I had in my brain. Granted, usually in like books like this, I don't really like to have or like think of like theories. Like I kind of just want to see how they're gonna make the story unfold. I was like, okay, this was none of those things that were dropped were anything that I was suspecting. The one person that I thought was going to be involved was not. And then, you know, I'm being really vague, obviously, because I don't want to tell you what happens, but it's a slow unfolding. If you like Lisa Jewell, I think you'll really like this, or this author. I've heard that her other stuff is like kind of eerie and like more like unsettling when you read it, and like when you get to the reveal and stuff is something like Lisa Jewell does too. I actually really like Lisa Jewell, and I really like this so far. It's like so many things that are like coming together, and just like so many other like side plots that are happening that are eventually going to come out, obviously, and like make everything wrap up all nicely. But you're finding out a lot about the girls, and because they're all still sisters, like they all still reference each other as sisters, and they all see each other regularly, like they live in the same town. So now they are being brought back to the home where they were foster children in because of things that are happening and being discovered there. So now I'm like 60% of the way through. The thing that just like was dropped, I was like, what the heck? What do you mean? I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, so I just finished Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth, and honestly it was really good. Like I read that literally in less than a 24-hour time span. Like it was really good. It kept me really engaged, really entertained. I will say about like by the 60-ish
2% mark when I think I had like last updated you on something or whatever. I kind of had already figured the story out. Obviously it was just a theory. I think a little bit after that, once something else was mentioned, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of know what happened and what the gist is. Really entertaining. I'll save my ratings till the end. I kind of already have given it a rating, but I kind of want to sit on it because maybe it will be a bigger rating or less than it. I don't know. Either way, it was really, really good. And let me tell you, that last 2%, not even 2%, it was like the last like 3 pages is what jaw dropped me. I was like, oh, I was like, girly pop, I cannot. But yeah, no, it was like that last like 3 pages that I was like, oh my God, you're kidding. But like also you're not, like clearly, because like this makes sense. Like this makes sense. And I had a feeling. But anyways, it was really, really good. I don't know what I'm gonna read next. I'm gonna pick it out. I had a few on my list. I'm gonna go take a shower and then think about what one I'm going to read next. Long time no chat for me, but not for you. I haven't updated you once while reading The Heartless Hunter. I'm currently 75% of the way through and I haven't said anything once, like I said. I don't know why I haven't updated. I mean, I just haven't had the time. Like anytime I was reading, like Michael was playing video games and stuff like that. So like I never really got the opportunity, or I was only able to read for like a quick bit. I am 75% of the way through, like I said. I'm enjoying it, but I don't know what it is about it that just like isn't hitting. Like I'm enjoying the story and the storyline, and it's honestly like different compared to some of the other fantasies that I've read. Like this one just solely is like based on the fact that like she's a witch and the love interest is a witch hunter, and like I've read other things where there's like witches and like a magic system and stuff like that. The magic system is that she's just solely a witch, like that's really it. So it kind of like brings it down to like just being, you know, a witch or something like that. I just don't know how I feel about it. Like it's not that there's nothing going on, but I also don't know how I feel about the 2 main characters. Like I don't necessarily know if I really like Rune or Gideon. Like they're fine, like they're okay, but like their whole relationship is based off of a lie, which they both in their own brains know. Like they each other don't know, but in their own brains and like their own like POVs, they know what they're doing is a lie. I don't know. I just don't know how I'm feeling about it yet. It's honestly, like I've seen really good reviews, so I'm just kind of surprised. Honestly, I don't know. It's not like I wasn't in the mood for it either, because I have a list of books that I'm reading for this video, obviously, that I chose from, and this is the one that I was wanting to read. Like after I finished Darling Girls, I was like, oh no, I want to read Heartless Hunter, because that's the one like I had been thinking about. I was like, oh, I want to read that one. And it's just not hitting. I don't know. Usually, I don't know. I eat up fantasy, like I really do, but I don't know. There's been some fantasies that I haven't eaten up, and this is one of them. So I'm a little sad about it, but we'll see how it goes throughout. Like I think this is only going to be a duology, but so far I do plan on continuing the duology. Like whenever the second one comes out, I do want to read it, even though I'm not even done with this, but I'm 75% of the way through. It's not looking like it's going to be like a 4 stars. That's my update. It's cool, stories flowing nicely. I think it's a little different, a little unique, but I'm just not feeling it. Like I just don't think it's for me. I also can't tell, I don't even know if it was mentioned and I can't remember. I don't know how old the characters are. I think they're like 18, 19 age range based off of like the timeline, but I don't think it's ever said. I don't know. I could be wrong. That could be a lie. Anyways, that was my update, like I said, and I will probably finish this later. Okay, so I have a theory about what is going on. So last time I updated you, I was 75% of the way through or something like that, and I literally was out. So I am now reading it and I'm 80% through it, so I'll probably finish it tonight. But I have a theory, and I had this theory for a little bit of what was gonna happen. Well, not necessarily what was gonna happen, but with one of the characters, I was like, oh no, like that's weird, that's sketchy. And I think is what's going on is that she is sus. And I'm trying to be vague because if you haven't read it and you want to read it, I don't want to give anything away, but I do have a theory, and I'll let you know if my theory is correct, because I think it is. The way that she's setting it up and the way she's planned it and just the name of the character, I'm like, that's sus. That's suspicious. Okay, literally not even like a few chapters later, basically kind of confirming my theory. So we'll see. We'll see if it plays out the way I'm thinking it is, because with what's going on right now, I think this girl, she's suspicious. She's a faker, is what she is. I don't know why I was whispering. There was no reason to whisper. I literally cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. I only have 10% left. This is crazy. No, actually it's not that crazy. Just a lot of things unfolding all at the end, like normal. I was right. I don't know why I'm whispering. I was right. I was right. Okay. See, I was right. I knew it. I knew it all along. Okay. I didn't know it all along. Okay. I wasn't right. I mean, okay, I was right. And I knew it all along. Well, not the whole time, but most of the time. I knew it. Yeah, okay. I only have like 5% of the book left, so I'm gonna finish it, and then I will come back and update you. I just finished. It was actually really good. It was really entertaining. The first half of it though, like I really liked it, but I wasn't like super into it. Like it kind of like was just like nothing was going on. I didn't know if I really liked Gideon and Rune. I still don't know how much I really liked them as characters. I mean, they're fine. Like they were good. It really is that like last like 10 to 15% of the book that makes it good. Like literally like all of everything that unfolds within that last percentage of the book makes it so worth it, because well, one, the theory I had was right. Everything was right. I kind of predicted it, but that was fine, you know, because I actually kind of liked seeing my theory unfold in the way, even though I knew what was gonna happen. And usually that ruins it for me. Like if I know what's gonna happen, I'm usually like, oh, it was so predictable. But I ended up really liking like seeing how everything unfolded after I already knew everything. I was like, oh my god, like that's crazy. Don't know what book I'm gonna start next. Think I'm gonna start a Nicholas Sparks book because I haven't read one of those in so long. I think I'm gonna do The Best of Me, because that is now on Kindle Unlimited and I want to read it before they take it off. I've never read it before. I've obviously seen the movie, so I know like what happens and stuff. He's like one of my OG favorites romance authors because I loved all of the films that happened because of his books. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that one next, but I'm not sure. I'll save all my ratings for the end. Anyways, I'll update you when I move on to my next book. On The Best of Me by Nicholas Sparks. This one is actually taking me forever to read, okay? Like the pacing of this book is so incredibly slow, and honestly all of his books are kind of like that, which is something I really don't like about them. I'm only like 67% of the way through, and I really feel like I should be at like the 85% mark. There's like a lot of things going on that I feel like are like not important, but I know like from seeing the movie and stuff like that, they are kind of important to like what's gonna happen at the end, considering I already know what's gonna happen at the end since I've, you know, seen the movie. I feel like there's like a whole bunch of extra pages for no reason, or a whole bunch of extra like POVs, because it's told from third person POV, so you get multiple point of views. I just feel like they're just like unnecessary. I haven't seen the movie in quite a long time, but I have noticed some of the differences from the book to the movie, but honestly there really isn't that many. Like they're just like really small differences that I've noticed, like things that were like not super important, or that like I could see why they changed it for the movie adaptation compared to this one, or compared to the book. And then they definitely left out like a bunch of stuff. A lot of the stuff I'm reading about, like a lot of the point of views that I'm getting definitely were not in the film, at least from what I'm remembering. Definitely not in the film. Realistically, for what they changed, they're not that important. But yeah, anyways, I literally only came on here to update you about this book. I didn't come up here to tell you the differences between the book and the movie. But yeah, so either way, that was the update I wanted to give you, was that this is going incredibly slow. The fact that I haven't finished it yet, it's dragging. She's dragging. I like it a lot. Oh, there was actually one thing in here. Well, okay, it actually made me kind of really sad, because as you guys know, this is like a romance novel, and you know, Dawson and Amanda, obviously they were like their first loves, and like they're still in love with each other now. And like just like the speech that she gave Dawson, like because of her family, was really sad. If you've seen the movie, this book's been out for so long. Sorry. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be spoiling it. But if you've seen the movie, you know what happens, obviously. It was just really sad. Like, I was really, really sad, like, reading it because, like, seeing her talk to Dawson and, like, the way she spoke to him and what she said, and she wasn't, like, being mean or anything like that, but, like, the emotion and love pouring out of her words was just really sad for what was going down, you know? So, yeah. And I feel like in the movie, Amanda was actually divorced. Like, she had just gotten divorced in the movie. In this, she is not. She is married. Or maybe she's on the verge of a divorce or something like that. I don't know. In the book, she's not divorced. She is still married. I'm gonna continue reading. I just wanted to give you that update about The Best of Me because I haven't updated you anything at all. Just finished The Best of Me by Nicholas Sparks. I talked about it a little bit last night. I know I did. I liked it. I've seen the movie, so I kind of knew what was gonna happen, but it was really slow. Like, that's like the one thing that I just didn't like. I don't know, like the situation that Dawson and Amanda were in, where like it had been like a time span of like 20 years, and for them to still be so in love with each other, not that I thought was like unrealistic. I guess like if it was someone that you always thought about, I could see like where Dawson's perspective of being like still in love with her. I don't know. I could also see Amanda's perspective too of like never loving someone the way that she loved Dawson. I don't know. I liked it, but I don't know how I feel. It's not like the most memorable book I've ever read, you know? I feel like he's just a classic like summer romance writer, you know what I mean? Like all his books were super popular like years and years, not years and years ago, but years ago. I remember like growing up and like hearing about like the new Nicholas Sparks book coming out and like people will like running to the store to get it. I feel like I get it for the time that those books came out. I feel like it was really like his writing then tuned to the time, whereas now like it's not as much, which is probably why I feel like so disconnected from it. I'm going to pick my next book. I'm not sure which one it is yet. I have a list. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna do yet though. I just took a shower and I wanted to film this before I turned the air on because it's super loud. I actually decided to start reading The Lost Sisters by, can you even see that? By Holly Black. This was another book. This is actually was a spur of the moment. This isn't even on my list, but this is a novella of Elfheim and it's basically an explanation from Taryn's point of view. It's only like 50 something pages, so it's really not gonna take me long to finish. I'll probably end up finishing it tonight before I go to bed. Guys, it's the next day. So I never updated you last night. Literally after I finished that last clip, 20 minutes later, I finished The Lost Sisters by Holly Black. Like I said, it's only a novella, so it was only like 57 pages. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. Like I like seeing the perspective of Taryn. So if you guys don't know, this is like the novella that comes right after the first book. Things that go down in the first book, like you're getting Taryn's perspective as to like why those things happened. So if you've never read The Cruel Prince before, it's actually on Kindle Unlimited right now, so you can read the first one and then read this one, but the other two for the series in the trilogy are not on Kindle Unlimited, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know how I feel because it didn't really give much explanation. Like it did, but it didn't. Like there wasn't like, I don't know, maybe it's like just to show like Taryn's true character even with this novella POV. It just felt like it didn't give me anything important or like extra. Like yeah, I got some perspective onto some of the things that were happening, especially like once you find them out, but still, I was kind of like, huh? Like, it didn't make any sense. Well, it did make sense, but it didn't. Okay, anyways, the next book I am gonna read, out on a limb, I've decided. So this has been one that's been on my list for so long actually, and it's been on Kindle Unlimited for a while. A lot of her books are like, I think getting traditionally published. Like I just bought one of her books and I feel like they weren't all traditionally published before, so now I'm like scared that they're going to be taken off Kindle Unlimited, even though I would love to buy the actual book because the cover is really cute. Even like the new updated cover is really cute. I'm actually dressed for cardio. So I'm actually gonna go do some cardio, read, and also we're gonna go to the pool this morning. It's so hot out. Like we literally just took the dog out to go to the bathroom. It was so hot. So we're just gonna go to the pool and chill for like an hour-ish probably and cool down and then come back, and I'll probably end up doing some work. But it gives me the excuse to read this morning. Usually I wait and I don't read until I'm done some of my work. Finish getting ready, get my stuff ready for the pool as well. I'll see you guys during one of those activities. I don't know. It is the next day. I don't remember. I think I did give you an update yesterday, but either way, I am 36% of the way into Out on a Limb. Honestly, I'm loving it. Like, I am like sitting here like giggling, cracking up, like, and smiling while reading this. Like the amount of things that I've already annotated in my Kindle because I just simply laughed out loud. So many. This is so good so far. This one is an accidental pregnancy trope, and it's also like amputee and deformed limb. Yeah, I think that's what you would call it, honestly. I don't know. Representation, which I also really like because honestly, a lot of the time I forget that they are both like have like essentially a disability. I feel like that's definitely the purpose of it, is it like it's not like the main focus. Like yes, this is something that's part of them, but it's literally not their entire life. And that yes, sometimes they have certain struggles, but like it doesn't like consume them. It doesn't consume the whole story, which I absolutely love. So I didn't even know that she actually had like a tiny hand too. Like you could see in the little graphic on Kindle Unlimited. I don't know if you could see the reflection of that, but like her little hand, I never even noticed that. And I'm like, oh, that's such a cute little thing. I don't know, I don't know. Am I saying the wrong things? I don't know. But anyways, I'm actually really loving it. This is an accidental pregnancy trope, so where I was getting with that, I know a lot of people don't love accidental pregnancy. If you're gonna read one, I would highly recommend that it be this one. I haven't even gotten like that far into the book yet or anything like that. I can already tell like just the way that this book is set up is accidental pregnancy trope, because it's not insta-lovey. It's not like insta like, okay, we have to be together, we have to do all this stuff. Like the only reason we're together, like these two people like had a connection and kind of wanted to be with each other as it was, and then this happened, and right now where I'm at in the story is like they're literally like, okay, yes, this is the thing that's happening. They were both happy about it. Now they're just like, okay, how are we're gonna be friends. Like this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be friends. We want to have like a really strong friendship and relationship so that we can both be good parents. And they're not even like focusing on being together like in a relationship romantically. Like they're really just focusing on being friends so that they can give their baby like the best life that it can have. Now granted, I'm only about 36% of the way in. Like I said, it's going really well. So I don't know where else it's gonna go. I mean, I know it's gonna end up with them probably being together because that's how they all end up, but I'm really excited to keep reading this. It is so good. Like it is so good so far. I can't believe it's taken me this long to read it. Like I put it off for so long because so many people hype it up, and I feel like that's like my biggest thing is like I always put off really popular books for a really long time because they're so hyped up, and this was one of them, and I literally cannot believe I had put it off for so long, considering I am 36% of the way in and I am obsessed already. Like Beau, love him. Oh my god, he's such a caring, wonderful man. So caring, wonderful man. Win, her name is Winifred. She is just like the banter between them, and she's just kind of like this little like black cattish energy. Has such a like wonderful heart, you can see. Like you could just tell like she is a genuine person and like loves with like everything that she has. And so like her love for her best friend and her family, well like her found family, is just wonderful and amazing. I'm really, really excited to keep reading this, and I will give you some updates. My battery is flashing, but I literally just finished Out on a Limb. You guys, I loved it. It was so good. This was such a good book, and I highly recommend you read it, but I guess I'll come back later to finish my thoughts since my battery is now flashing at me, telling me that I need to charge it, because I do. Read this book. This was fantastic. I loved every single moment of it. Made me laugh, giggle, kick my feet. Literally laughed so loud last night in bed while Michael was sitting next to me, and he was like, "What are you laughing at?" And I had to read him the line because it was so funny. Come back with my final thoughts for this book at a different time. So yesterday I ended up starting, well, last night, because I finished a book yesterday, and then last night I ended up starting Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. I absolutely loved the first book I read by her, which was Local Woman Missing, and this one so far is like proving to be almost just as good. Like literally I'm only 20% in and I'm hooked. Like she really got me on the first page. The funny thing is though, my mom texted me today about it, and she was just like, "Oh, I liked it, but the middle was kind of boring," and she didn't know I was reading it, but I had told her like, "Oh yeah, like read this book. I really liked her first one, so read this one and then I'll read it after you can send me the book." But then they put the book on Kindle Unlimited, so here I am reading it. I'm really liking it though. Like she's already like basically like drawn up the main part of the plot for you in this first 20% of like showing you like, okay, so like this is what we're gonna be following. And I didn't read the back, I didn't read the description, I never do that. I like going in blind. Anyway, I'm gonna continue reading this. I'll tell you some updates later. This is not a very attractive angle of me. A little while later, I'm now 70% into the book. I don't know if my mother jinxed me or it's right. It's probably just right. When she told me that like the middle of the book is kind of just like kind of bleh. It kind of is dragging on. She's really good at giving you like details that you don't realize are probably really important things being said in the book. Like she does a really good job of that, because like currently like you're following in Just the Nicest Couple, there's two couples. You're following the POV of one person from each couple. So you follow Christian, who's with Lily, and then you follow Nina, who's with Jake, goes missing. Lily and Christian are friends with Jake and Nina. Find out about, you know, all this stuff that's going on, and so you're getting everything from their perspectives of like what's going on in the situation. This angle is just not doing me any favors. I'm sorry. But actually I don't think I care. So yeah, it is dragging on because you're just getting like their thoughts and like their anxieties of like everything that's going on during this situation of like him being missing. It's just, not that it's boring, but it's like it's keeping me on edge because it's like kind of like anxiety inducing almost, because like she's writing it almost as if like you're feeling it too, which is a good thing. It's like because you're living it as they're living it while they're going through these things during these like heightened anxiety inducing moments, you know. It is kind of dragging, but I am 70%. I'm close to finding out what's going on. I have my theories and everything because of the way the story played out, that it might be kind of obvious from the obvious standpoint. Like, yes, I know what happened, but at the same time, I don't. I'm gonna finish this book. I have 100 pages left. Shouldn't take me that long. Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. And honestly, the ending, I'm a little confused. I'm confused. The big reveal happened. Wasn't expecting that. That did get me, I guess. I thought it was gonna be someone else, but it wasn't them. They got their own like weird wrap up, but they did it at the same time. Like it was briefly mentioned, and then like I'm like, wait a second, but he had a big storyline, so I don't understand why he has nothing going on right now. Because I really thought that he was gonna have something big, but he didn't. And then there was like some reveals that happened towards the end of the book, which I won't say obviously because they're spoilers. It goes into Christian's point of view, who is one half of one of the couples. It was just so weird because like with the reveal I understand the ending kind of, but at the same time I was like, huh? I understand with everything, but it's like, ugh, okay, it's hard to explain when I'm being so vague, obviously, because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, it was not what I was expecting. I didn't really love that one. Like compared to like Local Woman Missing, I didn't like love it. It was okay. Like it like built up really well at the beginning. Like the beginning hooked me. It just was underwhelming. There we go. The ending, the plot twists and everything like that were underwhelming. I could see it playing out the way that it did, like perfectly, because like I could understand. But like it wasn't until like the very last second that it like flipped its switch on the reveal of like who it was gonna be and like what happened. So yeah, that's it I guess on that. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to start it tonight, but I might. But I've decided the next book and the last book I'm gonna read for this video, because basically this video is getting too long and this is the last book that was on my list for like new books that I've never seen on Kindle before. Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This I know is young adult, I think romance. I'm not sure exactly, but I think it is. I think it's a young adult romance. I don't know much about it. I do think it spans in 24 hours though. So like the whole span of the book is 24 hours. And that's it. That's the book I'm gonna start next. I'm excited because I've heard really, really great things about this book. So okay, so I just finished Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow. I really liked it. It was actually really, really cute. It was just like this cute little high school romance story. Basically, it all takes place in 24 hours. It's like their last day of senior year, and they're like basically like academic rivals throughout their past 4 years, and they're both competing to be valedictorian. The last day of school, like all these like fun little senior games happen and stuff like that, so they have to team up so that they can both get to the end so that one can beat the other type of thing. Anyways, it was really good. It was really cute. I really, really liked it. I'll have to come back on and give you my final thoughts of all the books I read in this video, because there were 7. I read 7 books in this video. Crazy. I don't even know how many books I read this month, but I literally read more than 7, clearly, because I read 7 in this video and I just did this over the course of like a week. Anyways, I really liked it. I ended up really liking all the books I read in this video, honestly. This is the last Kindle book I am reading, because yes, there are a lot of books that I want to read that are on Kindle, but I think I need a Kindle break, honestly. I need to get through some of my physical TBR. So by the time you see this video, I hope that all these books are still on there so that you can read them, because I honestly really did enjoy all of them. I'm gonna come back to you tomorrow, an actual wrap up of all the books, because I'm just not in it right now. Not in a headspace. I'm tired. Cannot be bothered. Hello you guys, I am finally back to give you my final thoughts on all the books that I read in this video. And I know this video is already really, really long, so I'm going to make this as quick as possible. So let's just get right into it. Let's start off with the first book I read, which was Darling Girls. I remember talking about in the video how I did really like it. I read it in one sitting. It was super easy to get through. Sally Hepworth's writing is definitely very eerie. So if you're not like sure about a thriller, it's like kind of unsettling in the way that she like writes things and like leaves them. Like that's just based off of what I got off this first book. I did really end up liking it though. It was super entertaining. it kept me engaged the entire time. I ended up rating this one a 3.75 stars. It really was the last 2% of the book that like really made it for me. I kind of guessed what the plot twist was gonna be. Granted, I didn't guess the like final plot twist, but like the main gist of the plot twist I did guess, so that's probably kind of why I gave it a 3.75, but it was still good. I do highly recommend. It's a very good summer thriller read. Next up, I ended up reading Heartless Hunter, and this is another one I actually very much thoroughly enjoyed, but it just like kind of fell flat for me. I couldn't put my finger on it what it was before about this book, but I realized that it reminded me so much of Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Again, this is a book where the last 10% of the book is like what made it like super worth it for me and like made it like a higher rating. I ended up giving this one again a 3.75. It was really good. It was really entertaining. The actual like magic system and fantasy element is a little bit different than what I've read before. Like this one is solely based on the fact that like they're witches. Like she's a witch and I think only women can be witches. And then there was witch hunters and then there was witches and they were trying to get rid of all the witches so that they couldn't overpower them. It's an enemies to lovers. He's the hunter, she is the witch type of thing. And like I said, it just really reminded me after the fact was that it reminded me so much of Powerless. And I didn't love Powerless because of how much it reminded me of the Hunger Games. If it like heavily reminds me of another book, I tend to like not love it as much. But either way, I still really did like it. I don't know how I felt about the characters though still. Otherwise, I really did like it. Very entertaining. It kept me engaged the entire time. Like I had a good time reading it. But like I said, it just reminded me too much of another fantasy book. Next up, I read The Best of Me. This is a classic like Nicholas Sparks romance book. I really wanted to feel like the nostalgia of reading one because I personally, when Nicholas Sparks was like huge, when he was like a big author, I wasn't into reading at all. I was pretty young too, so like reading some of these books, I don't think I would have quite have grasped the understanding and then like the themes and the things that go on in the books. Like now I have like a better perspective of them. Like back then when they all came out, I would have been really swoony of them and being like, oh my gosh, like I wish I had a love like this, when realistically it wasn't necessarily the best situation. So I guess I kind of like that now, like part of the book, like being able to read it from my adult brain perspective. This one was okay. I liked it. It was really slow paced. There was just like, I don't know, I think I really was going into it like remembering like, oh, like Nicholas Sparks, he was such a big thing, he was such a big deal at the time, to like coming now to like seeing the difference in the way, the type of books that I read now and the way that books are written now compared to like back when he was like, you know, like really popular author, like people were like waiting for his books to come out type of thing. You could tell the difference. I guess they're just not necessarily my cup of tea because they're all really slow paced, which I don't necessarily love. But anyways, I ended up giving this one a 3 stars. It was good. Like I said, it's not my favorite Nicholas Sparks book. I did enjoy reading it, and I think the reason I was able to get through it was because I did see the movie, so I did want to see the differences and how it all played out. But otherwise, yeah, I don't think I would have loved this, or I would have really been able to keep reading it if I didn't see the movie. The next book I ended up reading was The Lost Sisters by Holly Black, and I did mention that this was a novella, so this novella directly after the Cruel Prince book. So the first book in the series, then it goes this one, and then it goes The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. I liked this one, but I didn't like love it. Like, I understand her writing this. She wants to give you Taryn's perspective of certain events that happened in The Cruel Prince. I can't tell if like her writing this was just so you can see Taryn's true character of like being like, none of this is my fault, or like trying to play the victim or the innocent card of things that happened in the first book. So like Taryn is Jude's twin sister. She has a big role in the book, but not like a huge one. Like she's a very like important character when it comes to certain things. That's the point of like this book, but I think it's to show you her true character of like, I'm trying to like make up for these things that have happened and I want to explain to you, but like Taryn's just the worst. She's kind of the worst. I ended up rating this one a 3 stars. It's a novella. It's only 57 pages. There isn't much to go off of considering I already had a preconceived opinion. It was okay. I just felt like it didn't give me all the information that I was wanting. So next up we have Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Bonham Young? Yes, I think that's how you say her last name. Either way, love this book so much. Thought it was 5 stars, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to knock it down. It's definitely not a 5 stars. I really loved it though. Like, this book made me, I was sitting here giggling, laughing out loud like so many times and like smiling. The character Beau really reminds me of Michael, who is my husband. I think that's another reason why I liked it so much, because Beau in the book is just so cute and so nerdy, and he just like reminded me of Michael. I loved the communication in this book, just the way that they were so willing to just work with each other on this like situation that they were going through, making the best of it and like doing what they felt was right. They were so like open with each other and like wanting to be the best parents and like doing everything that they could to make sure that the communication was going to be like on par, so that they could both be very good active parents even if they weren't going to end up together. Like I said, I couldn't stop laughing, I couldn't stop giggling. It was just a great time. If you're gonna read an accidental pregnancy trope, make it this one, because this one was so good. It's so funny, they're so cute, and that's just all I gotta say about it. I really did think it was gonna be 5 stars, but after like sitting on it, I just like, I'm not thinking about it as I did other books. And now granted, I was reading a lot of books for this video, so it might have just been because of how quickly I had to jump into another book. Even if I jump into another book and I like really loved another one, I'll still be thinking about them if they're my 5 stars, you know what I mean? I think this one's going to be a 4.5 stars. Yeah, a 4.5 stars. I think that's a really good rating for this book. It was my favorite throughout the video, obviously. I think my favorite of the month, because honestly I couldn't even tell you another book that I read this month other than the ones that are in this video. That's actually a lie, because 2 of them are sitting right there, and I do really like those books. All right, next up. Oh wow, I never even noticed how low the rating was for this book. We have Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica, and unfortunately I did not love this one, and that's kind of a big disappointment, because I loved the first book I ever read by her, which was Local Woman Missing. That one, like, 5-star read, one of my favorite books that I literally always like think about and talk about. Like, I always tell people, if you're gonna read a thriller, read that one. You know, I talked about it a little bit in the video, as you guys know, since you've already watched it. The beginning did get me, the middle was so slow, and then the reveal was so underwhelming, and it just like didn't hit. All the things that played out, and I was like, really, this is where this was going? Like, you couldn't have given like a really big shocking twist. And like, I feel like her twist, she felt like it was shocking once it happened, because she explained everything. It made sense, but at the same time I was kind of like, okay, really, this is the reveal you went with? It could have been the one that I was thinking, and then you could have made it like this big thing that no one was expecting, you know? But in the end, she just didn't do that, which was kind of disappointing. So I only ended up rating this one a 3 stars. And I think the only reason it is a 3 stars was because the beginning hooked me so well. The prologue and then the first few chapters, I was like, oh god, okay, and then really got me. Yeah, that's the only reason I think it's a 3 stars and it's not lower. But if that beginning wasn't as good as it was, then it probably would be a lower rating. All right, and the last book I read for this video was Today, Tonight, and Tomorrow by Rachel and Solomon. I really liked this one. This one was super cute. This is a young adult romance. I did talk about it a little bit, as well as you know. It takes place in a 24-hour period. They're academic rivals, and it's the last day of senior year, and they're playing this game basically put on by the junior class. It's just like their last like little hurrah as seniors. It was a fun read. I really liked the progression of their friendship in the 24-hour period, because they had been these rivals for 4 years, but they didn't actually know each other. Like, they were just competing to be the best academically and didn't even know each other as friends or like know anything about each other until this day. So that was like a really fun concept. Like, I've read books like that where they take place in 24-hour period, but I thought this one was done really well. Obviously, this is a little bit of a romance, so there is a bit of insta love in there. You have to remember, like, the insta love isn't necessarily insta love. It's just this like over time realizing but never admitting to yourself about these feelings. It's just this big old buildup. And they're also 17, 18 years old, seniors in high school. So like, obviously it's going to be this like insta puppy love type thing, because that's a very big thing that happens in high school in general, I feel like. So I feel like it's very on brand for the age that they are. The one thing I didn't like about this book though was like the main girl, her thoughts and opinions on certain topics that was kind of like just being like shoved at you, which I don't mind usually, but the way that the author had like written into the book, I was kind of like, this seems a little unrealistic, because I remember being 17 years old. I didn't didn't think like that. I didn't think like that. I didn't talk like that. It doesn't matter like how independent and strong and outspoken you are as a person. I feel like at 17 years old, like granted you think you know everything, that shit I never would have thought of. Like their school smart, just the way it was done, I feel like was not accurate to a 17-year-old girl. More of like a 25-year-old girl. Yeah, that was the only thing I didn't like about it, because it was almost like she was attacking other characters for not really thinking of it. This like point of view and like just assuming this thing, which is like, no, that's fair for them to not think that way because they're 17 years old and they don't think about things like that. Yeah, that was the only thing I didn't like about the book. Otherwise, I did think it was very, very cute. It was very well thought out, very well put together. I think I ended up rating this one a 4 stars. Very good. I highly recommend. I would like to actually read the second book. There is a second book in this like duology. They're like companion novels. They follow the same couple, just the next year of their life. But yeah, I would like to read it, and hopefully I'll get to soon. That is gonna be it for this video. I am so sorry how long it was. If you stuck around this long, thank you. True book lover. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social medias as well as subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.